Hello, welcome to lesson 9-7. We're going to model addition and subtraction of mixed numbers. We're on page 357 in your Envision Volume 2 textbook. We're going to use models and equivalent fractions to help add and subtract mixed numbers. Solve and share. Tori's cutting loaves of bread into fourths. She needs to wrap 3 3/4 loaves of bread to take to a luncheon and 1 2/4 loaves for a bake sale. How many loaves does Tori need to wrap for the luncheon and the bake sale? Solve this problem any way you choose. What I might do is just show you using, let's use some fraction strips. Okay, so here is our fraction strip representing fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. We have 3 3/4, so I'm going to use these whole strips to show us 3, 1, 2, and 3. And let's use this as our 3/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So that's 3 3/4 loaves of bread. She also needs to wrap another 1 2/4. So here's one hole. Again, we can take a fourth from this one to finish it off. 1/4. Then we need another fourth from a fraction strip. So I don't have another white piece. So what that means is I've got one hole, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole loaves plus our other fourth fraction from another loaf. So we came up with 5 1/4. Let's model that here. 1 whole, 2, 3, 3/4. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So that's our 3 3/4. Then she needed another 1 whole and 2/4. So rather than, let's take 1/4 from this one and then 1/4 from this one. This part of the bread is not needed because we're only adding 1 whole and 2/4, 1/4, 2/4 from another loaf. So what we're going to have to wrap when we wrap, or Tori wraps 3 3/4 plus 1 2/4 together is 1 whole, 2, 3, this is a whole now, 4, 5, and 1 out of 4 parts of another loaf. So we can look at adding this way. Let's write our problem across. We can add our whole numbers. We have 4 whole loaves. 3 plus 1 is 4. Then we've also learned that if we add our numerators, 3 plus 2 is 5. Keep the same denominator because all of our loaves we're dividing into 4 equal pieces. Are these 2 equal? Well, they don't look like it, but again, when we see this fraction 5/4, that would look like this, wouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we need another fourth from another loaf. So this fraction 5/4 is 1 whole plus 1/4. So we're going to trade that 1 whole and 1/4 in, that 5/4 in for a whole and a fourth. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because 4 plus 1 is 5, and 1/4 left. So yes, they mean the same thing. So that was kind of quick and just showing you when you have 5/4, you have 5 is more than the 4 parts of a whole. So that means it's, remember, a mixed number. Shows you have wholes and you have fraction parts. This fraction alone can become a mixed number by itself because you have more parts to a whole than you had parts in that whole. You had 5 parts when there are only 4 in your whole. All right. How can you estimate this sum above? Well, 3 plus 1 is 4. 3/4 is more than a half. 2/4 is exactly a half, so we have at least another whole. So we can say 3 plus the fraction whole plus this whole makes 5, so about 5, but exactly 5 1/4. Visual learning, page 358. After you finish this video, we do another example at the top here. All right, so let's use the number line. This might be more helpful. To find 1 1/8 plus 2 4/8. Start at 1 1/8 right here. Move to the right 2 times because we are going to be adding, let's see, start at 1 1/8, move 1 to the right 2 times, then move 1/8 to the right 4 times. So we're moving 1 whole. You can't just move from 1 1/8 to 2. You move to 2 1/8. Move another whole, 3 1/8. Then we move our 4/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. And we end here, which is 3. And 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. So 3 5/8. So the key for using the number line is whatever fraction you start on, the whole number and fraction, when you move ahead a whole, you've got to keep that fraction in your whole. So your whole move. So 1 1/8 landed at 2 1/8. 3 1/8 when we added 2 whole. All right, let's use our fraction strip to find 2 3/5. 1, 2, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. So 2 3/5 take away 1 2/5. So we take away a whole and we take away 1/5, 2/5. We're left with 1 whole and 1/5. This may be your favorite. It might be an easier one to draw than all these little number line divisions, but whichever one you feel most comfortable with. All right, so in number 1, do you understand? In the problem on the previous page, why does, okay, so we didn't do, that's visual learning, so we will skip that, sorry about that. Do you know how? Numbers 2 and 3, use a tool to find each sum or difference. So we can use either the number line or the area model to illustrate these. So let's do one of each. Let's do 1 2/5 on the number line. So this is for number 2. Here's 0. Here's 1. We're going to divide them into fifths because our fraction is fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2, 2, 3, 4. That would be 3 whole. So 1 2/5. We're at 1 1/5, 2/5 would be here. Plus 2 4/5. So we need to go much further. That's 3. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. There's 4. So we go 1 whole would be not 1 and not to 2, but to 2 2/5. So 1/5, 2/5. So right here, that would be 1 whole. We're adding another one. So we go to 1/5, 2/5. We go to 3 2/5. That's our 2 that we added on. Now we need to move ahead 4/5. So we move ahead 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. If this is 4, then this is 4 1/5. So this would equal 4 1/5. Now if you were just to add those, the whole numbers add up to 3 and our fraction parts add up to 6/5. We have to keep in mind 6/5 means we have more than a whole. We'd break it down to a whole and a fraction, and that's how we would get to 4 1/5. Number 3, we'll do with this model here. We start with 1 whole and we add 1/4. It's not going to be a very good picture of a fourth, but okay. So this is a whole and 1/4. And we add to it 2 whole plus 3/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So now we have 1 whole, 2 wholes, 3, and 4. So this one, our fraction's gone because our 1/4 fraction plus our 3/4 fraction, which we showed here, equals a whole. So our whole plus the 2 wholes over here plus our fractions equals 4. You're to do independent practice here on page 359, numbers 4 through 11. Flip over on 360 and do number 17 and 18 after you watch the visual learning video and along with page 358.